Vice President of India, Shri M. Venkaiah Naidu ji. At the outset, I owe to thank you for sparing your valuable time to be with us this morning and encourage us and also bestow us with your words of wisdom. Even though officially I have been designated as a guest of honor for this morning's program, but originally I am part of the host team. And therefore, it's my proud privilege to welcome you on behalf of everybody over here, on my behalf, and also on behalf of the people of Jammu. Ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Vice President is a highly knowledgeable person, highly well-read, highly erudite, and highly literate. The one-liners spoken by him during his speeches and also during the conduct of the upper house, namely Rajya Sabha, in his capacity as chairman, are not only widely quoted but also are highly popular. And therefore, I think it's our proud privilege. There couldn't have been a better person than him to be the chief guest at the convocation. At the personal level also, I feel gratified because the fact that I have been bestowed with his kindness, love, affection, patronage for several years now, even when we were not part of the government. He was head of the political party and I was an ordinary Karyakarta. And I am thankful to him that even after we became a part of the government, he continued to bestow on me with the same guidance, affection, love and patronage. Honorable Lieutenant Governor, who's already said that I am his friend, I believe him and I also reciprocate that he is my friend. Professor Milind, Professor Sahai. I've seen them working, particularly Sahai, for a couple of years, and I know, I can stand witness to how painstakingly, diligently he's been responsible for building this institution inch by inch, brick by brick. I vividly recall when I had come here along with the then HRD Minister, Prakash Javadekar ji. That was, I think, the beginning of IIM. That was, I think, shortly before Professor Sahai took over. And therefore, it gives me a great amount of personal satisfaction to see this institution growing into such a glorious form. And I must say that much water has flown down the river Tavi since then, and much has changed in Jammu as well. Jammu today has virtually emerged as an education hub of North India. We have this IIM over here, we have the IIT, we have the Indian Institute of Mass Communication, we have AIIMS, we have 3 government medical colleges within a radius of just about 10 to 20 kilometers. In the Central University headed by Professor Emma, I was seeing him somewhere here, we have introduced the North India's first ever teaching department of space technology through ISRO, to which I also modestly contributed. We have the North India's first biotech industrial park coming up in Kathua, and a series of engineering colleges. And without being modest and without mincing words, I can say with a certain amount of conviction and confidence that all this has happened in the last 7 years, ever since Shri Narendra Modi took over as the Prime Minister. I expected a loud applause, but you are hesitant. You are hesitant. Please don't be hesitant to acknowledge, because it's easier to sympathize with a friend who is in grief, difficult to appreciate a friend who is achieving. It has happened in 7 years, sir, and we owe it to Prime Minister Modi and the Modi government. And you see it from a wider perspective of the youth and students. Just about 20 kilometers from here, we have the India's 3rd or 4th largest stadium coming up, named after Arun Jaitley. I think that is next only to Ahmedabad Stadium or the Eden Garden Stadium of Calcutta, which is going to be a multiplex sports stadium. And we have a water sports complex coming up in the nearby Mansar Lake project. Both these projects, the foundation stone was laid during the COVID pandemic. This is not often reported in the news because somehow it doesn't make a breaking news for the media. But this is happening actually around us. And all this has a direct connection with the youth, the students, and the youngsters. And therefore, gone are the days when the common grievance was that there is discrimination happening against Jammu. Being a student of science, I've learned to talk with evidence. There are projects sanctioned simultaneously both for Jammu and Srinagar. In Kashmir, they are languishing. Jammu, they are progressing. We have the first phase of Ring Road already functional in Jammu. In Kashmir, it is yet to take over. AIIMS, we have already selected first batch of 50 students in Jammu. Kashmir, it is yet to take over for whatever reasons, for the peculiar circumstances over there. Similarly, the Industrial Biotech Park is ready at Kathua. It was to come out at Kupwara. Even the land acquisition has not happened. And therefore, in spite of all this, who still keep complaining that there is discrimination, maybe they are victims of the victimhood hangover of the past. And therefore, I think this is one of the best times happening under Prime Minister Modi. Now, coming back to the IIM, ladies and gentlemen, we live in an age of expertise, an age of professional specialization, and an age of super specialization. And with Jammu gearing up to experiment with new methodologies of entrepreneurship, the new methodologies of industrial initiatives and new methodologies of mega breakthroughs, I'm sure you guys who have obtained degrees today have an opportunity to contribute value addition to these new initiatives happening and new breakthroughs happening. And when I spotted Professor Manoj Dar over here, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Jammu, the thought that occurred to me is that we could have or devise means to also have a closer collaboration between IIM Jammu and the business school in the University of Jammu, which itself has distinguished over the years. Many of its alumni are occupying prestigious positions in national and multinational companies. And even otherwise, the age of working in silos is over. And this is precisely what the Modi government has been emphasizing, and the Prime Minister himself, that we should learn to work in collaboration for a wholesome growth of Mother India. Since I just want to make a point, since in my ministerial capacity, also happen to be looking after 2 premier institutions, academic institutions of India, namely the Lal Bahadur Shastri Academy of Administration in Mussoorie, which trains the IAS of probationers, and the Bhabha National Institute, Mumbai, of the atomic energy. Sir, my observation is that in the institutions of higher education today across India, there's a huge demographic change occurring, which sometimes goes unnoticed. And this demographic change is actually happening at three levels. A, at the regional level. For example, even in case of civil services, IAS, there was a time when most of the IAS probationers came from Bihar, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu. Now you have toppers from Haryana, toppers from Punjab, toppers from the militancy-infested districts of Kashmir. Secondly, there is a huge gender change. There was hardly a time when you hardly came across female in these higher educations. Now you have almost 30% of female probationers in the IAS. And you have rankers. Number one, incidentally, Professor Sahai, being a teacher himself, would be amused to know that from 2014, we had, for 3 consecutive years, ranker 1 in the form of a girl. We had Ira Sehgal. I think the girls at least can clap, if not boys. We had Ira Sehgal from Haryana, then followed by Tina Dabi from Delhi, followed by Nandini from Karnataka. And only the 4th year, the jinx was broken when a boy from Hyderabad topped her. I thought, thank God, you have broken the hat trick. So this is a huge change happening amidst us in the student community. And the third change is the linguistic. Earlier on, in most of these institutions of higher education, you had boys and girls coming from elite background. And that will be of some amusement to the Honorable Vice President when I point out. Now we have boys and girls coming from Navodaya Vidyalaya, Kendriya Vidyalaya, from government schools. And ever since I came into DOPT, I started the practice of personally interacting with the 20 toppers of IAS, because that was a learning experience for me as well. And to the Honorable Vice President, I would submit, sir, about 5 years back, I came across a boy. He was ranker 6 or 7 in India. He was from Guntur, sir, your home state, the border district of Guntur in Andhra Pradesh. He had done his entire education in Telugu up to BA, because he came from a family which was not well-to-do. His mother was a housemaid. The nearest college that he could go or access was the one providing Telugu medium up to graduation. And he made it. And made it with such an amount of confidence that when you asked him about his introduction, he had no hesitation to say that my mother is a housemaid. So that is the change which has happened. The youth today, the student today is much, much more aspirational. And the modern tools of education and technology, the net, etc., and the online provisions have made the knowledge more accessible, preparation more easy. That is why we have, because earlier on you had to have access to costly libraries, costly books, which were not affordable for every family. I came across a small girl, class 12, from Sopur. She had qualified IIT. Since I have this fanciful khurafati of trying to learn from these children, so I asked her, I said, बेटे आप बाहर militancy थी और ना आप कहीं कोचिंग सेंटर जाते थे ना कहीं, तो कैसे आपने किया? बोले अंकल ये सारा नेट पे सब कुछ है, सिर्फ 6 महीने 14 घंटे रोज की पढ़ाई करनी, IIT क्रैक हो जाता है. मैं कहा बेटे अगर कोई पहले मुझे मिला होता आप जैसा तो मैंने भी किया होता. So that is the amount of confidence, sir. And therefore why I am pointing out this is that it is the responsibility of all of us over here, the policy planners, the educationists, the academicians, the government functionaries, to facilitate and to provide a level playing field to them, which I would say so that it could be made aspirational realization, ease of aspirational realization, I would like to as put it. At the government level, we have tried to find some revolutionary breakthroughs. For example, very recently we abolished interviews for selection, so the written test will be the only merit. From this year onwards, possibly in September, we are going to have a common eligibility test across the country for government jobs with a center in each of the districts. Otherwise, these boys and girls had to run helter-skelter. Sometimes there was a railway department exam, sometimes a banking, and all of them could not afford. So in order to overcome that. And therefore, at the level of IIM also, I think Professor Sahai would give a sound thought to this aspect to meet the barriers of language. Just because you are not well versed in English should not be detrimental to your inherent aptitude, which I have learned moving around in the student community for almost half of my life or more than that. The second, the barrier of cost affordability, which sometimes is an issue cropping up from IIMs particularly. And the third, the barrier of making it less bookish and more occasional. And that incidentally reminds me that Francis Bacon, one of the greatest literary writers of his times had once said that the greatest harm to the cause of English literature is done by the teachers of English. So if we could have more of a field orientation or occasional orientation, they would be prepared to take up the job which Lieutenant Governor was referring to after they have passed out from here. Without taking long, because we are here to listen to the pearls of wisdom from the Honorable Vice President, in the end I would just say, because I've been myself a teacher for more than a quarter of a century, most of those who pass out from IIM take lifelong pride in boasting that I am an alumni of IIM. I wish those who have obtained the degrees today would achieve such glory that Professor Sai and his team at one point of time have the privilege to say, look here, this boy, this girl placed there had been my student, passed out from the portals of IIM Jammu. I don't know whether you realize that you have been born at one of the best times in the recent history of India. India is now entering the 75th years of its independence, and you have 20, 30 years of energetic vigor to contribute. And at the end of the day, you will also have the privilege to tell your children and grandchildren, look here, I was serving the nation at a time when I also had the opportunity to be the architect of Modi's new India. Thank you very much.
उपराष्ट्रपति आदरणीय श्री वेंकैया नायडू जी, भारत सरकार के मंत्री, हमारे मित्र और यहीं के प्रतिनिधि सम्माननीय डॉक्टर जितेंद्र सिंह जी, बोर्ड ऑफ गवर्नर्स के चेयरमैन डॉक्टर मिलिंद कांबले जी, डायरेक्टर IIM जम्मू प्रोफेसर BS सहाय जी, मेंबर्स ऑफ बोर्ड ऑफ गवर्नेंस, विभिन्न विश्वविद्यालयों के कुलपति, हमारे एडवाइजर श्री राजीव राय भटनागर जी, श्री बशीर खान जी, जम्मू कश्मीर संघ राज्य क्षेत्र के मुख्य सचिव श्री BB सुब्रमण्यम जी, जम्मू कश्मीर संघ राज्य क्षेत्र के सभी वरिष्ठ प्रशासनिक अधिकारीगण, बिजनेस मैनेजमेंट की दुनिया में अपनी यात्रा शुरू कर रहे सभी ग्रेजुएटिंग स्टूडेंट्स, IIM के सभी प्राध्यापकगण, सभी सम्माननीय अभिभावक, देवियों, सज्जनों तथा मित्रों, सबसे पहले मैं सभी स्टूडेंट्स को बधाई देता हूं और उनके उज्जवल भविष्य की कामना करता हूं। बात शुरू करूं उसके पहले भारत के उपराष्ट्रपति आदरणीय वेंकैया नायडू जी का भी हृदय से अभिनंदन करना चाहता हूं और आभार भी व्यक्त करना चाहता हूं कि आपने समय निकाला और इस कन्वोकेशन में आप शामिल हुए। जितेंद्र सिंह जी का भी उनकी जन्मभूमि कर्मभूमि में मैं एक बार स्वागत करता हूं। पेरेंट्स तथा टीचर्स को भी बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। जीवन को अनेक विद्वानों तथा शास्त्रों ने अलग अलग तरीके से वर्णित किया है, डिफाइन किया है, और हजारों साल के उस विजडम का जो सूत्र मैं समझ पाया हूं वह है जीवन का मतलब सीखने की प्रक्रिया, जीवन का मतलब ज्ञान की प्यास, जीवन का मतलब कुछ न कुछ जानना बाकी रह गया है, कोई पूर्णांक नहीं है, जीवन भर सीखना है। आज जो विद्यार्थी नई राह पर चलने को तैयार हैं, उनसे मैं कहना चाहता हूं कि जब आप नौकरी शुरू करेंगे तो रोज नए अनुभव होंगे, अनेक जिज्ञासाएं मन में उत्पन्न होंगी। इसलिए शिक्षा की जो उत्सुकता, आतुरता क्लास में अब तक थी, वह आगे भी जीवन पथ पर बनी रहनी चाहिए। ज्ञान की खोज और ज्ञान का अर्जन, ये जो प्रक्रिया है, ये जीवन पर्यंत चलनी चाहिए। मैं कांबले जी को और प्रोफेसर सहाय को तथा सभी प्राध्यापकगण और बोर्ड ऑफ गवर्नर्स के सभी सदस्यों को भी हृदय से आभार व्यक्त करता हूं कि बहुत कम समय में IIM जम्मू ने शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में, खासतौर से प्रबंधकीय शिक्षा के क्षेत्र में राष्ट्रीय पैमाने पर अपनी एक अच्छी उपस्थिति दर्ज कराने में सफलता पाई। विश्व के पहले मैनेजमेंट गुरु चाणक्य ने अपने अर्थशास्त्र में जिस प्रकार बिजनेस एक्सपेंशन, मार्केट एक्सपेंशन, नए बिजनेस आइडिया, रेवेन्यू जनरेशन, क्रिएशन ऑफ वेल्थ पर सूत्र दिए थे, उस दौर के व्यवसाय से जुड़े लोगों के लिए मैं मानता हूं कि वही गाइड बुक थी। लेकिन हमारे देश का दुर्भाग्य कह लीजिए कि जो विजडम हमें ईसा पूर्व 3री शताब्दी में मिल गई थी, वह 12वीं शताब्दी के बाद गायब हो गई, लुप्त हो गई। और इसलिए आज भी बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग हैं जिन्हें सिर्फ इतना ही पता है कि बिजनेस मैनेजमेंट एजुकेशन की शुरुआत जोसेफ वाटन ने की और पहला इंस्टीट्यूशन 1881 में स्थापित किया गया। साथियों, वाटन के योगदान को नकारा नहीं जा सकता है। इसमें कोई संदेह नहीं है कि बिजनेस में स्किल तथा उसे एक पाठ्यक्रम के रूप में वाटन ने समझा और एक नई क्रांति का वहां से जन्म हुआ। फिर भी कई बार जब मैं अर्थशास्त्र को समझने की कोशिश करता हूं, कुछ किताबें पढ़ता हूं और उसके कोर्स के संबंध में कुछ जानकारी रखने का प्रयास करता हूं, तो कॉर्पोरेट एथिक्स हो, इवॉल्विंग बिजनेस मॉडल जैसी कुछ किताबें पढ़ने का अवसर मुझे मिला, तो अर्थशास्त्र की बातें आज के टर्बुलेंट और अनप्रेडिक्टेबल बाजार में कभी कभी ज्यादा प्रासंगिक लगती हैं। नौजवान मित्रों, जब आप लोगों ने MBA में एडमिशन की तैयारी की होगी, तभी अनुभव जरूर हुआ होगा कि बिजनेस एजुकेशन बिल्कुल एक अलग तरीके का कौशल प्रदान करता है, जिसमें सिर्फ थ्योरी नहीं बल्कि व्यवसाय से जुड़े प्राकृतिक नियमों का संगठित ज्ञान के साथ साथ प्रयोग भी होता है, जिसकी चर्चा अर्थशास्त्र में की गई है। बड़े प्रख्यात मैनेजमेंट गुरु टेड बिलिलीज भी सफल मैनेजर्स के लिए और उनके टीचर्स के लिए लाइफ लॉन्ग लर्निंग की बात कहते हैं, जिससे उनकी प्रसिद्धि स्थापित हो सके और बदलते वक्त के साथ दोनों मिल करके चुनौतियों का सामना भी कर सकें। यही बात हमारे तैत्तरीय उपनिषद में लिखी गई है, सहनौ यशः सहनौ ब्रह्मवर्च समः। गुरु तथा शिष्य के विद्या ब्रह्म तेज में वृद्धि हो तथा उनका यश यानी उनका फेम एक साथ संसार में फैले, यह प्रयास जीवन में निरंतर चलते रहना चाहिए। आज का यह कन्वोकेशन एक ऐसा अवसर है जहां मैं आप सभी साथियों से आग्रह करना चाहूंगा कि तैयारी कर लीजिए, क्योंकि क्लासरूम से बाहर निकलकर एडवेंचरस खोज वाकई अब शुरू होने वाली है। अभी तक IIM का कैंपस आपने देखा, उसे पहचाना, हवाएं और मौसम को नजदीकियों से देखा। अब आपकी अज्ञात अकेले की यात्रा शुरू होने वाली है, जिसके लिए साहस, आकांक्षा और बदलाहट की क्षमता, जिसे एडॉप्टेबिलिटी कहते हैं, उसकी जरूरत पड़ेगी। आज के बाद कोई भी चुनौती आए उसे मैं अकेले निपट सकता हूं, ऐसी भावना आपके दिल में होनी चाहिए। नौजवान मित्रों, जिस पल अकेले खड़े होने की हिम्मत आ जाती है, जब आप संघर्ष और चुनौतियों से अकेले निकल कर आते हैं, धारा के विपरीत चलने का साहस आता है, तभी मैं मानता हूं कि जीवन का असली कन्वोकेशन होता है। और मैं तो मानता हूं कि बिजनेस मैनेजमेंट में चुनौतियां और बढ़ गई हैं। कोरोना महामारी के दौर में जिस मुद्दे पर सबसे ज्यादा विचार हो रहा है, वह है वर्तमान में जो संस्थान ह्यूमन कैपिटल प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं, क्या वह इंडस्ट्री के मांग के मुताबिक है? कहीं ऐसा तो नहीं है कि हमारी शिक्षा व्यवस्था और मार्केट की डिमांड के बीच गैप बढ़ गया है? और अगर ऐसा है तो हमने उसके लिए क्या स्टेप्स उठाए हैं? अभी जब डॉक्टर सहाय यहाँ थे तो उन्होंने कई ऐसे कदम जो इस गैप को भरने के लिए उठाए गए हैं, उसका विस्तार से जिक्र किया है। अभी IMF का जो आंकड़ा है, उसके अनुसार भारतीय अर्थव्यवस्था पटरी पर आने लगी है और 2021 में 12.5% भारत की विकास दर अनुमानित की गई है, जो चीन से भी ज्यादा है। 2022 में भी इसके 6.9% के आसपास रहने की उम्मीद है। दुनिया की 5वीं अर्थव्यवस्था के रूप में हम उभरेंगे। हमें अब सिर्फ यह सोचना है कि जो भविष्य के बिजनेस मैनेजर हम तैयार कर रहे हैं, क्या वह मार्केट की मांग के अनुरूप हैं या नहीं है। सभी शिक्षकों, प्राध्यापकों से मैं निवेदन करना चाहूंगा कि पिछले साल सितंबर में विश्व के 700 कॉरपोरेट के बीच एक सर्वे हुआ था कि कोरोना के बाद नए रिक्रूट में वह कौन सी स्किल देखना चाहेंगे। जो टॉप 3 स्किल सेट उन्होंने बताए थे, मैनेजिंग स्ट्रेटजी एंड इनोवेशन, मैनेजिंग टूल्स एंड टेक्नोलॉजी तथा इंटरपर्सनल स्किल। और उनका यह मानना था कि कोरोना के बाद जो न्यू नॉर्मल वर्ल्ड आएगा उसमें भी हर साल अप स्किल करने की आवश्यकता पड़ेगी। इसलिए मैं मानता हूं कि अब एमबीए के एकेडमिक तथा कॉरपोरेट के बीच गहरे तालमेल की जरूरत है। पढ़ाई सिर्फ कोर्स के आधार पर हो ऐसा आवश्यक नहीं है, बल्कि बाजार की मांग के अनुरूप हो, ये ज्यादा आवश्यक है। एक अमेरिकन बिजनेस एजुकेशन से जुड़ी एक्सपर्ट एबी स्कॉट का कहना है, मेनी MBAs are being asked to come in at a level where they are managing people. They are being asked to make strategic decisions, not just implement them, and they are being asked to creatively solve problems, which is what innovation truly is. मित्रों, मार्केट के अनुरूप बदलाव के लिए जमीन देश के सम्माननीय प्रधानमंत्री आदरणीय नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने 2017 में ही तैयार कर दी थी, जब IIM को राष्ट्रीय महत्व का संस्थान घोषित किया था। सम्माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का उद्देश्य है हमारा ह्यूमन कैपिटल विश्व स्तरीय होना चाहिए, और इसलिए मैं मानता हूं कि MBA ग्रेजुएट में सिर्फ ऑपरेशनल स्किल हो ऐसा नहीं है, उनमें और भी गुण हैं, प्रतिभा है, और उसे निखरने का पूरा मौका मिलना चाहिए। अब डिजिटल तथा आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस के जमाने में हर रोज मार्केट में जिस तरह के बदलाव हो रहे हैं और मशीन मनुष्य को रिप्लेस कर रही है, उसको ध्यान में रखते हुए बिजनेस मैनेजमेंट के लोगों को इवॉल्व होना पड़ेगा। IIM जम्मू तथा उनके छात्रों को बस संभावनाओं के द्वार खोलने की जरूरत है, और मुझे पूरी उम्मीद है कि इस परिवर्तन के साथ हम कदम से कदम मिलाकर आगे बढ़ेंगे। साथियों, हमें यह भी ध्यान देना होगा कि हमारी जो शिक्षा है वह सिर्फ बाहरी जगत नहीं, बल्कि मन की पूर्णता को भी छुए, ताकि हर बच्चा सिर्फ प्रतिस्पर्धा, सिर्फ एक रेस का हिस्सा न बने, बल्कि उसको ऐसा अवसर दिया जाए जहां सफलता का मतलब सिर्फ मेडल नहीं, प्लेसमेंट नहीं, बल्कि अच्छे व्यक्तित्व का संपूर्ण विकास हो। एक प्रसिद्ध किस्सा है, आप में से अनेक लोग जानते हैं। अमेरिका के राष्ट्रपति अब्राहम लिंकन के पिता जूता सिलने का काम करते थे, मोची का काम करते थे। राष्ट्रपति बनने के बाद जब वह एक बार सीनेट में भाषण कर रहे थे, तो किसी ने टिप्पणी की कि आपके पिता तो जूता सिलते थे। लिंकन ने भरी सीनेट में एक बात कही, मुझे लगता है कि सबको प्रेरणा देती है कि मेरे पिता बहुत अच्छा जूता सिलते थे, लेकिन अफसोस की बात है वह जितने अच्छे मोची थे, शायद उतना अच्छा प्रेसिडेंट मैं नहीं हो पाऊंगा। इसलिए मैं कहना चाहूंगा कि ओहदों का मतलब कुछ नहीं होता है, सबसे जरूरी जीवन के मूल्य होते हैं। सभी कामों की महत्ता को समझकर कौन और कैसे राष्ट्र निर्माण में अपना योगदान देता है, ये सबसे महत्वपूर्ण है। अंत में मैं आप सभी को इसी भावना के साथ बधाई देता हूं, उज्जवल भविष्य की शुभकामनाएं देता हूं, और यह उम्मीद करता हूं कि आप सभी मिलकर के राष्ट्र निर्माण और आत्मनिर्भर भारत के अभियान में अपनी प्रतिभा से अमूल्य योगदान देंगे। 1 मिनट में 2 बात और कहूंगा। यहाँ के कैपेसिटी कांस्टेंट को देखते हुए एक फेलोशिप हम लोगों ने शुरू करने का निर्णय किया है, जिसमें IIM जम्मू, IIT जम्मू और NIT श्रीनगर के 10 विद्यार्थियों को हर वर्ष LG फेलोशिप दी जाएगी, ताकि उनकी प्रतिभाओं को आने वाले समय में निखारा जा सके। एक रिपोर्ट वेंकैया जी मैं देख रहा था, मैं उसको भी उद्धृत करना चाहूंगा। जम्मू कश्मीर हैज लेस अनएम्प्लॉयमेंट रेट देन दिल्ली, बिहार, हिमाचल प्रदेश, झारखंड एंड गोवा। ये कल ही रिपोर्ट आई है, और इसलिए मैं इसका जिक्र करना आवश्यक समझता हूं, कभी कभी गफलत हो जाती है। वी आर डूइंग बेटर देन दिल्ली 9.4, गोवा 22.1, बिहार 14.1, हिमाचल 14.3, झारखंड 12.8, राजस्थान 19.7, and we are in March 2021 we are 9. That's our progress. Thank you. Jai Hind.
केंद्रीय राज्य मंत्री डॉक्टर जितेंद्र सिंह जी, जम्मू और कश्मीर का उपराज्यपाल श्री मनोज सिन्हा जी, IIM जम्मू बोर्ड ऑफ गवर्नर्स अध्यक्ष डॉक्टर मिलिंद कांबले जी, IIM जम्मू निर्देशक आचार्य GS सहाय जी, IIM जम्मू के बोर्ड ऑफ गवर्नर के माननीय सदस्यगण, सम्मानित अतिथिगण, स्नातकों, अभिभावकगण और परिजनों, शिक्षकगण एवं स्टाफ के सदस्यगण, मीडिया के मित्रों, प्यारे स्नातक साथियों, आप सभी को नमस्कार। देश के 20 इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मैनेजमेंट में से सबसे नए IIM जम्मू के तीसरे और चौथे दीक्षांत समारोह में आपके साथ सम्मिलित होने पर हार्दिक प्रसन्नता का अनुभव कर रहा हूं। हर नए संस्थान की तरह ही IIM जम्मू को भी पहले के IIM के अनुभव से सीखने का लाभ मिला है। साथ ही उसे अपने अलग पहचान बनाने का अवसर भी मिला है। मुझे खुशी है कि IIM जम्मू ने अपने लिए ऊंचे लक्ष्य किया है और बोर्ड ऑफ गवर्नर, निर्देशक और शिक्षक समुदाय उच्च स्तरीय शिक्षा सुनिश्चित करने, स्तरीय शोध और अनुसंधान के अवसर पर उपलब्ध कराने तथा अंतर्राष्ट्रीय सहयोग बढ़ाने के लिए कृत संकल्प है। My dear brothers and sisters and my young graduates who are graduating today, Jammu Kashmir, like other parts of the country, has been an important center of education since ancient times. This is the land of Patanjali, who gave the gift of yoga to the world. This was the land where aesthetics got a new idiom in the works of Anandavardhana. This was the land where Laleswari and Abba Khatun mesmerized the audience with their poetry. We must continue to enrich that rich culture of learning and the culture of innovation. I'm happy number of education institutions have been established here in this part of the country. We must make quality education the springboard of development. It should be noted by all, particularly the academic community. India today is at crossroads. We have firmly resolved to take the path of sustainable, inclusive development. Certainly, education is at the heart of transformation. The Honorable Prime Minister, Sri Narendra Bhai, उन्होंने देश के सामने 3 मंत्र, छोटे सी मंत्र रखा है। उन्होंने कहा, रिफॉर्म, परफॉर्म एंड ट्रांसफॉर्म. Transformation of the nation, transformation of the lives of the people. That is the task before us. We must make people's life more comfortable, more happy, so that they all can live in peace, harmony, and happiness. That should be aim of all the people, right from politicians to policy makers to the academic community to student community. It should be our endeavor to see that we were able to make the countrymen safe and secure, along with that happier also. This is the task you have. We need to build a vibrant, resurgent India that capitalizes on its traditional strength and moves on forward by observing the best in the world My dear sisters and brothers and youngsters, I am glad to note that IIM Jammu is well poised to contribute significantly to this resurgence. The institute has shown great promise for exponential growth over the last few years. This convocation is a significant milestone for the institution and the students who are graduating today. I congratulate the students of Master of Business Administration MBA program on completing their course successfully. I would also like to congratulate Professor V.S. Sahai, Director IIM Jammu, and the faculty members who have done their utmost to create congenial learning environment for students and equip them with the knowledge, skills, and attitudes that will stand them in good stead in their future endeavors. I would also like to commend the parents who have encouraged and motivated their children to succeed in their academic pursuit. Dear graduating students, we are reaping the reward of your 2 years of hard work and dedication, which has brought this proud moment for you and all others associated with you. The world of immense opportunities and intense challenges are awaiting you. Opportunities are there, but challenges also are coming. The world is changing. Technology, science, research is coming with new innovations. So we must, youngsters, we must equip with the more and more innovations, and then, as I told you, work for the betterment of the people. The knowledge and skills you have acquired and the values you have imbibed will enable you to successfully navigate a complex world. There is a whole new world of work and constant learning that promises an exciting voyage of discovery for each one of you. My dear young friends, when you are going through your journey, you will realize that India is also undergoing a significant transformation. With fast-track development over recent years, our country is making great strides to fulfill the aspirations of our people. The ongoing COVID-19 pandemic has brought many challenges, but it did not break the spirit. It has only prompted us to work harder and reach our national goals. You would have read in the newspapers 2 days ago that IMF, International Monetary Fund, has raised its GDP growth forecast for our country during the coming financial year from 11.5% to 12.5%, making India as one of the fastest growing major economies in the world. This is truly heartening. This speaks volume about our resilient spirit and inherent strengths. The biggest resource and partner of our country in this exciting journey of development is youth. You people, like yourselves, everyone is endued with immense demographic dividend. We have potential to achieve anything. 65% of our Indian population is below 35 years. 50% of the population is below 50 years. So such is the youth power of our country. But for us to leverage the potential, we must enrich our human resources. Young people have to be motivated, adequately trained, and be fit and healthy. You have to be physically fit. If you are physically fit, then you will be mentally alert. What is the lesson we have learned from COVID? Physical fitness is more important. For physical fitness, everyone must take to some exercise of their choice. Yoga or any other practice for that. Physical fitness is necessary for a healthy life. And if you have a healthy life, then you can have a wealthy life. There is no guarantee if you have a healthy life, you will have a healthy life. Because your health depends on the hard work. That has to be kept in mind. Another important factor I would like to tell the youngsters is that we must eat rich, protein food. We should avoid junk food. But unfortunately, because of some publicity, branding, and other things helping the West, some of us are taking to junk food. The food has to be prepared, cooked properly. One boy told me, sir, we have now instant food. I always tell them wherever I go, instant food means constant disease. This has to be understood by one and all. Food has to be cooked, it cannot be instant. Then it will not be healthy. So we must not only have some physical fitness exercise, but also healthy food habits. This is equally important. Why I am stressing this is, you are the future of our nation. And you must practice these healthy methods. This is a lesson COVID has taught us. And also our way of living is also equally important. Our planning, our architecture, everything should undergo a change. Just for example, go through the life of the rural people. How many of them are affected by COVID pandemic? Vis-a-vis urban. The reason is they have open air, sun, they enjoy the nature. And we in urban areas, we are trying to live in congested areas. And not only that, we are not having the traditional ancient lifestyle. That's one of the reasons one has to be understood. So that's why I always say, nature, culture, together for bright future. This should be the watchword. Nature, culture, together for bright future. Our nature is abundantly available, but we are not utilizing it.